Virtually Fine by Gil Saint. Fade in. Exterior dystopian cityscape. Flyover. Day. We're gliding over a vista straight out of John Carpenter's 1980s brain. Dirty, grimy skyscrapers. Smog. Sirens. Industrial hell on earth. A line of text wipes on the screen. The future. A beat later, another word appears underneath that. Sucks. Exterior dystopian cityscape, sidewalk, same. And you thought it was bad up there. On the street level, from someone's point of view, we've got a front row seat to the future's homeless population, hooded mutants rattling coins in their cups, beggar androids broadcasting holographic "will work for spare parts" signs, a lizard woman eating her young. They're all vying for our attention, his attention. We reverse to see a very nervous-looking dork carrying his groceries through the hellscape. He's just trying to get home in one piece. We'll call this sad sack by his God-given name, Miller. The lizard woman bares her fangs. This scares Miller so bad he drops his eggs on the pavement. Yolks everywhere. The sight of food gets the crowd riled up, and they pounce like wild dogs. Just as the crowd gets a little too close for comfort and hands start grabbing at his groceries, ready to tear him apart, we cut to door slamming. We're safely inside. Interior, Miller's apartment, moments later, with Miller, as he lets himself fall back against the door with a sigh. He's grateful to be home. A few stray apples roll out from the grocery bag, but who gives a shit? Miller takes a long hit off his asthma inhaler.
I'm home.
You get the eggs?
Miller still sees some yolk gunk on his hand.
Fuck.
Interior, Miller's apartment, dinner table, night. Jeanie, Miller's wife, watches the news with her eye implants, a spectrum of light coming from her eyes that broadcasts a floating holographic image of CNN, which hangs between them at the table. We watch as Miller moves his food around, trying to ignore the audible headlines of the day, as read by a distorted news voice.
Panic as the Emperor-elect tweeted out a surrender of Earth today to an intergalactic militia force from the Caxar system. We should expect an invasion by Friday. #help!
As Miller winces the story away, he tries to make eye contact with Jeanie to no avail. We hear his voice.
I don't recognize my life.
Cut to a darkened room, where Miller lies on his back, spilling his guts out to someone we can't see yet.
I don't recognize this world anymore.
We widen out to reveal he's speaking to a virtual shrink on a display screen in a interior virtual psychologist's office. Continuous. The virtual shrink buffers for a moment.
All right, loading. I understand. Have you given any further thought to my offer?
I've tried VR.
Not like this you haven't. It's an experimental news system, and the best part is, it gets results. My colleagues tell me it'll replace chemical antidepressants within the year.
At least the pills taste good. Like strawberry milk.
What if your whole life could taste as good as those pills? What if, loading, if you had the chance to be happy again?
Miller takes a hit off his inhaler, mulling it over.
It won't feel virtual. It'll feel real.
Interior VR chamber, later. A room of shadows with a table in the center. On it, a crudely simple-looking VR visor. We hear the door open as Miller takes a seat. A moment of hesitation as he studies the headpiece. He pushes a button, and the visor makes a terror-inducing drilling sound. Miller looks over his shoulder, freaked out.
Relax. You don't even feel them take root.
Miller is still unsure. That sound is making his stomach turn.
You can always go home and think it over. I'm just not sure our new alien overlords will allow a treatment like this to the public. It's now or never.
Miller finally steels himself. He puts the VR visor on.
Okay. Time to behold the new world, I guess.
We hear the drilling sound again, only this time. Now we hear the unmistakable crunch of bone, the torquing of skin. Blood trickles from the visor down Miller's cheeks. Cut to black. Silent darkness. Until green lines cut through the black. We're seeing the world take shape all around us from inside a virtual display. Our point of view begins as a retro-looking wireframe grid, like those old spaceship computers in Alien. But now our image improves, eventually rendering a more sophisticated view of the world. Heavy breathing sounds soon usher us into Miller's point of view from inside the visor.
What the?
Exterior, busy street, Miller's VR visor point of view, continuous. We're walking down a street not unlike the one we opened the film with, only this time, life looks fucking amazing. Cue the upbeat music as we look up. There isn't a cloud in the sky. The heavens are a non-stop rainbow shining colors down upon us. We look ahead to a crowd of friendly people with cartoon faces, smiling and waving at us as they walk by.
Yuck, yuck, yuck!
A gorgeous supermodel can't take her eyes off us.
Call me.
Who? You mean me?
Hard cut to reality outside the visor.
Yes! You!
As we see, our supermodel is actually a bloody woman pleading with Miller for help. Red goo runs down her legs.
Help me! Something's wrong with me! Jesus! Someone help!
But with the visor on, Miller doesn't see or hear this. He laughs merrily with a goofy smile on his face, giving her a thumbs up, oblivious.
Woohoo! Still got it.
Miller high-fives a very confused beggar before leaving the scene without a care in the world. Interior, Miller's apartment, later. Back to Miller's visor vision. As we walk through an immaculately clean apartment, Jeanie, in nothing but a robe, runs right up to us with that look in her eyes.
Miller, I'm really horny.
We nod emphatically.
You have no idea how long I've waited to hear you say that to me again.
Hard cut to reality outside the visor, as a visibly numb Jeanie, actually wearing an Orwellian jumpsuit that looks like a work uniform, twists her face up at Miller.
That's just cruel.
This is gonna be great, hon.
I said I'm really unhappy. What did you think And what is that shit on your face? Is this blood?
Jeanie studies Miller's blood-stained visor. Miller, in a kind of punch-drunk state, grabs her by the shoulders in a sexy way.
Here, on the table? We've never done it on the table.
Miller begins to clumsily unbutton his pants.
Ew!
And as Jeanie runs away from Miller, we see, through Miller's visor point of view, the horny Jeanie playfully running away.
Come and get me.
Hard to get. I like that.
Hard cut to reality outside the visor. As real-life Jeanie rounds the corner and goes into the bedroom, where she goes to the window, opening it. Through the glass, we can see invading alien ships hovering in the black sky above. Apparently, the alien invasion has begun, but Miller doesn't see any of this. He stumbles in, laughing, ready to make love.
Oh, almost forgot.
He takes a hit off his inhaler.
Who's ready for love?
A beat.
I'm dead inside.
Jeanie steps onto the windowsill and leaps to her death. We hear her body splat outside, but we know Miller has no clue what just happened.
What a day.
Dissolve to gumdrop yellow sky, plush cloud-shaped pillows dangling above us as peaceful music plays. Is this heaven? No, it's interior VR simulation, clown world, day. All just a simulation. This one of the McDonaldland mindfuck variety. Furniture with googly eyes, sparkles in the air, lots of flashing colors. Everything looks dreamy soft to us, as we're still in Miller's visor point of view. And a clown with a powder blue stovepipe hat enters our view and speaks directly to us.
Do you want to tell me the last thing you remember?
No, I want a balloon animal.
I can make you a whole balloon zoo. If you just focus and tell me the last thing you remember. Come on, you can do it if...
I put my mind to it.
As we hear Miller's explanation, we're treated to a montage of life events outside the visor. We see what's left of Jeanie's body covered by a medical sheet outside of Miller's apartment.
I made love to my wife and watched her fall asleep.
We now see Miller walking down the street, oblivious, with a smile, as alien ships destroy the world around him.
I took a leisurely stroll. It was lovely. I even heard a bird singing.
We now see an alien militia trooper gun down a hooded mutant. Their pink blood spatters onto the pavement. Miller gingerly steps over it like he's stepping over a rain puddle.
It was like being in singing in the rain.
End of montage. and back to Clown World, and Miller grinning from ear to ear.
The end.
No.
Cut to reality outside the visor. A cold, sterile environment in low light. This ain't Clown World. It's interior alien ship, interrogation pod, same, where Miller is now being held captive. We see his wrists and legs shackled into a complex, full-body restraint rig. Our clown is actually a snake-like AI robot. It shakes its scanner back and forth, mimicking no.
No.
No. Does this mean I don't get my balloon animal?
The AI shakes no.
Okay, then you tell me what happened.
We would prefer to show you.
The AI's tentacles, basically long robotic arms it can grab with, come into view and take hold of Miller's VR visor. They start to tug as we cut back into Miller's visor point of view, as we see the clown grabbing our face, hands flanking our eyes.
Now, this might sting a bit.
As clown appears to tug at our eyes, our world disrupts into static. A flash of image. And then, hard cut to black, as we hear grotesque ripping sounds, Miller's unholy screams of unimaginable pain, the noises of flesh being torn, as we hear the VR visor being ripped out of his eye sockets. Cue a bubbly, happy song for our end credits.